The Iowa woman who raised concerns about a physician who is now facing charges got her moment this morning. Sherry Moeller tried for years to warn the Iowa Board of Medicine about Dr. Lynn Lindeman, but she says the board didn't take action. KCCI's Kayla James was there as Moeller spoke to the board in person for the first time. Kayla?
Yeah, and Stacy, for the last 3 years, Sherry Moeller or a member of her family has spoken at every Iowa Board of Medicine meeting virtually. But over the last month, things have changed. Lynn Lindeman was charged of sexually abusing a child. He then agreed to temporarily stop practicing. And today, Moeller drove to Des Moines to say in person, "I told you so."
I told you from day one that my main concern was that another child would be abused.
Sherry Moeller emotional Friday morning addressing the Iowa Board of Medicine about Lynn Lindeman.
It was July 10th of 1975 that I was sexually abused.
And reporting from the Daily Iowan back then shows Lindeman was convicted. But as we reported last year, Lindeman was given a deferred judgment and the conviction was wiped from his record. That allowed Lindeman to practice medicine despite his conviction. 48 years after the abuse, Moeller is still fighting for something to be done about Lindeman. More than his agreement with the board signed July 3rd to not practice medicine, which to Moeller isn't enough.
I begged you to revoke his license. I pleaded with you.
For 3 years. On Friday, board members listening on silently as Moeller ended.
Thank you, Ms. Moeller.
The only response in the meeting she received.
It's unfortunately what I expected.
Moeller telling me she still felt unheard, but that won't stop her from speaking up until something is done to keep this from happening again.
What I wanted from day one was for them to revoke his license. I want a change in the language on the renewal license.
A change in the language, Moeller says, to make sure physicians' past convictions are considered in the renewal process.
I'll be interested to see what changes you make. I predict no changes.
I did try speaking with the board's executive director, Dennis Tibbin, on camera. He referred me to a spokesperson.
They failed. The board failed me a long time ago, but and more importantly, there's been another victim.
Before Moeller drove back home Friday, she made sure to leave her mark.
Would like to speak as well.
Dropping off copies of this newspaper article in front of board members, featuring a recently written article on her efforts.
And I've told them that from day one. I'm not going away.
Lindeman's agreement to stop practicing is in place until his criminal case is resolved. He's currently in the Polk County Jail. Lindeman waived his preliminary hearing earlier this week. His arraignment is now set for August 14th. Stacey.